I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And for those of you who know me, know I've been covering big trials around the nation for decades now. What we experienced today on your front row seat to justice was a rare moment. This does not happen, folks. A-list celebrities don't end up on a witness stand in a courtroom talking about the intimate details of their lives. I mean, the last super A-lister I can remember was Bill Cosby, and not in the case, the criminal case he was convicted of. There were no cameras in that courtroom. I'm talking about decades ago in a civil case. There have been people put on trial like Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson. They didn't testify. We didn't see it. We didn't experience it. So what happened today was a very rare moment. Johnny Depp taking the stand to tell his story, and it's about this broken relationship with Amber Heard and what was happening behind closed doors. He's trying to clear his name. She has accused him of domestic abuse. He says that's all a lie. So today he took the witness stand. And when you take the witness stand, this is not one of those Hollywood sit-down interviews like a Barbara Walters interview. No, this is not Barbara Walters asking you questions. These are lawyers. Your lawyers are going to be friendly. The other side, not so much. And you've got to get into details, things that are very uncomfortable. You don't have a public relations person who is talking, say, listen, he can't talk about this or he can't talk about that. Those aren't the rules. Once you get up on the witness stand, put your and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. You've got to answer the questions. You've got to tell the whole truth up there. Regardless of what the question is, you can't avoid it. You can't say, oh, I don't want to talk about it. You have to talk about it. You have to answer it. And you have to be honest. Because if you're not honest on that witness stand, the jury can figure it out. They are watching every move. They're watching your body language. They're listening to your answers, and they've listened to all the other evidence as well. So when you get up there, you better tell the whole truth. Now, for Johnny Depp, don't forget, don't lose sight about what this case is about, okay? He is suing Amber Heard, and he wants the jury, number one, and I think the public, number two, and all of Hollywood, number three, to understand what was happening in his relationship. Because as we sit here right now, the story basically is that Amber Heard was the victim of domestic violence. So he's got to get up on that witness stand and make her the villain in all of this. That's the goal. Because what he is saying is that she lied about it. She made up stories and accused him of something so horrific that has destroyed his career, according to Johnny Depp and his legal team. So the only way that he wins this trial and perhaps wins public approval and starts winning back those big blockbuster roles with those huge paydays is to paint Amber Heard as a villain. And he's got to come out on the other end as some sort of a hero, someone you can feel sorry for, someone who was a victim of her, both through the defamation, the alleged defamation, the lies, and two, he's alleging that she was actually abusing him. So today, Johnny Depp took the stand, and right out of the box, made it very clear with a big fat denial that he ever abused Amber Heard. Take a listen.
About 6 years ago, Ms. Heard made some quite heinous and disturbing, brought these disturbing criminal acts against me that were not based in any species of truth. it was a complete shock that it just didn't need to go in that direction, as nothing of the kind had ever happened, though the relationship, there were arguments and things of that nature, but never did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I ever struck any woman in my life.
One thing that really struck me there, he's referring to his ex-spouse as Ms. Heard. Really interesting. We're going to get into all of this. I want to bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter right now. She is in Fairfax County, Virginia, outside of the courthouse. I describe this as an extremely rare moment. I mean, things like this happen, you know, maybe once a decade or so, where you've got someone of this stature who ends up in a courtroom having to reveal details within his life, intimate details of his life. Chanley, set the scene for us. What was it like inside that courtroom today?
Well, I can speak from sitting on the third row, Vinny. I mean, the gallery full of Johnny Depp fans, as you very well know, listening intently, obsequious in their attentiveness to every word he was saying. They would audibly react to little chuckles, or when he would smile, or when he would glance in their direction. They were following along. You could feel the love for Johnny Depp from the gallery. My eyes were on the jury, and I didn't see the same connections from this jury, which surprised me because they reacted to Johnny Depp as they have reacted to every other witness that has taken the stand so far in this case. No overt facial expressions, occasional notes, poker faces, looking down, looking at Johnny Depp, looking at the gallery when the gallery would react. There were a couple of moments where there was someone who sneezed from the gallery and Johnny Depp paused and said, "Bless you," and there was that moment. Really, none of the jurors cracked a smile even at that moment, Vinny, which was pretty amazing to watch. I will say at the beginning of the day, there was one moment when the jury first entered this morning, before Johnny Depp took the stand, where a female juror who sits on the front row did smile and nod at Depp, and of course he nodded back at her, which I had not seen before. So that's what it was like in the courtroom. And I don't know if you've seen this, but I've never seen a witness who can just talk as long as he wants to answering a question. Some of these answers, Vinny, lasted up to 10 minutes. I started timing them as he would just go on and on. It was the Johnny Depp show inside that courtroom this afternoon.
It really was. And, you know, he's got an interesting way of speaking. He referenced that. If you've seen him in interviews on talk shows, I mean, he kind of speaks the same way. So that's kind of who he is. But you mentioned the jury, quite different reaction from the gallery, but they are quite different, right? The gallery, predominantly women, this jury, young men.
That's right. In fact, we lost another young man on the jury. Well, the first young man we lost to jury yesterday to a health reason. But as I re-entered the courtroom for lunch for Johnny Depp's testimony, I noticed we were missing a juror. The court has not announced it, but we were able to confirm that one of the young men sitting in the back row was dismissed as one of the alternates. So now we're down to 9 jurors. That's 6 men, 3 women. And Vinny, you may remember this young man. He was one that really didn't seem... he seemed disengaged throughout the whole process. Not sure what the issue was or why he was let go, but we did lose one of those young men on the jury panel. But still majority men, still majority young. And again, one of those young men takes constant notes the entire time. Most of the other men on the panel just sit there and listen and watch Johnny Depp.
All right, I want to bring in our other guests. Stay with us, Chanley. Joining us tonight in River Edge, New Jersey, family law attorney Janelle Weinstein. No relation to that other Hollywood guy but we did work together in the Bergen County Courthouse years ago. Great to see you, Janelle. Also with us in Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Great to have you both here. Let me start with you, Janelle. This is the ultimate he said, she said. She hasn't said anything yet, but she will. So this is an important moment for Johnny Depp. What's your first impression of Johnny Depp telling his story? Is it a story that is easy to follow? Is it a story that is interesting? Is it a story that seems truthful, persuasive?
Well, I think what's really interesting, right, it's direct testimony. So he's telling a story, and I find it interesting that there aren't a lot of questions. They're letting him go. But he is a storyteller. He's an actor, and he's able to be rehearsed and remember his lines. I'm not saying he's not being genuine, but many people that testify are new to it and they haven't been interviewed before. There's been a lot of preparation here, you can tell from his testimony, but I think he is trying to come across genuine, depending on what camp you're in, if you're a fan or not, how that will be interpreted by the jury. But I do think he is somewhat relatable as he's talking, in the sense that he's trying to give emotion. But I do find it interesting because we know this isn't the first time. We know there's been depositions that he's given testimony to, and he's got, and he's an actor. So at the end of the day, I think that the jury's able to follow him. I think his attorneys are keeping him on track on what they want to get out on his direct testimony. But there's a lot more to go. It's going to be interesting to see how he continues to hold up.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, I want you to take a look at a moment today when Johnny Depp was talking about his mother, and they spent some time on his upbringing. So I want to talk about the impact of his mother on his life, but also this moment in the courtroom. Let's watch.
One afternoon, I woke up. I'd fallen asleep, and I woke up and walked out into the living room, and I saw my mother, very feebly, and like almost, it was like a slow motion crawl. If I could stand up, I could show you just what I saw. Do you mind?
No, you can stand up.
Thank you. I saw my mother, in that mode. So instantly, I knew that something was dreadfully wrong, and there's drool coming out of her mouth. And as I was about to run and call, the front door busted open, and my uncle and two paramedics came in and threw her on the gurney and whisked her out of the house to get her to the hospital to pump her stomach. She had swallowed a multitude of pills to try to take herself out, to try to commit suicide.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, your thoughts about the impact, the relationship of Johnny Depp and his mother, and the impact that it's had on his life, on who he is, and where he is right now inside this courtroom.
I think it's had a tremendous impact. At the beginning of his testimony today, it was kind of a heart-stopping moment, because he was talking really slowly and he couldn't find words and he couldn't make sentences, and it was hard to figure out whether this was because he was nervous or because he was going to act, or because he didn't know what he was going to say, or did he take. It even seemed like maybe he had taken some pills. But anyhow, then he started flowing in a more consistent kind of way. But that just showed what I think it really was the emotion. He knew he was about to tell the story of his life. And the story that he just told about his mother, that came after his having told about all her physical abuse and emotional abuse. And he said that the emotional abuse was worse. And he talked about his father taking it, and the reason why his mother tried to commit suicide was because when he was 15, his father left. So, both of his parents, I mean, he talked about seeing his father take his mother's brutality, just all the things that she did to him as well. So yes, I had said at the beginning that this case is about Johnny Depp having married his mother. That, in other words, Amber Heard was abusive, just like his mother.
Dr. Carol Liederman, Janelle Weinstein staying with us. When we come back, we're going to dive a little deeper into Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship. Ultimately, that's what this case is about. A lot was revealed today, including when they first met one another and shared that first kiss.